Welcome everyone to beautiful Spielberg, Austria. We are live here for round 11 of the ILRS season Indycar Legends Racing Series. Mountains a bit quiet for the time being, but the engine's starting to warm up here in practice. 75 laps ahead, 200 miles approximately, in the first leg of our European swing, taking place here at the Red Bull Ring. 3 races and a mid-season title up for grabs. Greg Moore may be running away with the season points standings, but here in Europe, anything can happen. Saw last year with Alexander Rossi coming away with the European swing title, winning here at the Red Bull Ring. And one other variable to consider, the track is slightly wet at the moment. Cars are doing their best to get some heat into the racing line. Nobody on any wet tires or anything, but something to keep in mind as rain is lingering in these mountains. Let's go ahead and pop in with our points leader. There is Greg Moore down the backstretch. You see just ahead Sebastian Bourdais, who is second in points. Just over 5 minutes left in this warm-up session. Greg Moore currently 31st quick, so not where he'd like to be in this opening warm-up. Let's see what he does this time around with Mario Andretti, who's 5th quickest, right behind him. Running the softer compound. Yeah, 119.5 that time by, and he's on his 5th lap now. Currently quickest is last week's pole sitter, Juan Montoya. He's hitting pit lane, a lot of water there. There's his teammate, Pato O'Ward, who won at Barcelona last season to close out the European swing. Had a real good shot at the championship. He's 3rd quickest here at the moment, running behind Unser Jr. Inside on that real tight right-hander, can't make the pass. We got less than, just about 4 minutes here in practice, and then we will head to 4 laps of qualifying, followed by the race itself. 75 laps, approximately 200 miles here. See a lot of water in this part of the track coming off the tires. Had some earlier showers since moved on, but still some pretty damp spots on track. Drivers are not able to run the line they typically would, and you see it right here, especially like cars trying to come in the pits are really struggling. Great battle here between Montoya and Hornish, running towards the top of the charts. Gilles Fair looking to get his first lap in. Right up ahead, you got Emerson Fittipaldi, 2nd quickest at the moment. Good to see him at top 5. He's had some good runs lately, so hopefully we can put something together here at the Red Bull Ring. Another car we expect to do well. Nigel Mansell, his Formula 1 background. Keep an eye on the radar today, as that will be on these drivers' minds. Yet to have any weather involved in a race in this series. There's Greg Moore and Sebastian Bourdais side by side. Oh, contact even. First and second in the championship, mixing it up in practice here. That was risky. Not much of a line there when you got puddles on each side of the track, and they decided they both wanted to be in that same spot. See what happens when we get to the race. Bourdais is actually just out of the pits, so also have that to take into consideration. Those fresh tires getting up to temp. Don't know he'll have time to get in one more lap, but made a move on Sato and has just driven off. He's seeing himself currently 37th quickest, so not looking good for first and second in the championship right now. I mentioned Bourdais, and then there's Greg Moore, 34th. And you can see the water there. That part of the track, if it's still there when we get to the start of the race, we could have some pretty big moments, that's for sure. We'll put it that way. Practice just finishing up. So we can find Montoya, who again is quickest overall by 0.2 over Fittipaldi.
Checkered flag for practice.
We'll stick with the 6 car for qualifying, provided he is the quickest lap to lap, and anybody goes quicker, we will switch over to that. This guy's getting those laps in. Bourdais comes across a 118.4, however, does not improve his position. A huge spread in lap times here at the moment. A 116.2 for Montoya to a 120, or sorry, William Bourdais a 118.4. That's over 2 seconds. Fortunately, I don't believe we had any incidents or off tracks here during our practice session, so it's not too serious out there for the drivers. Just enough to make them run a different line. Rounding out the field, you see we have Foyt, Leyendijk, and Weldon. We are now here at 3 p.m. local time in Spielberg, Austria. Ready for qualifying. Track's still fairly damp in certain parts. Just on the out lap here for Montoya. Looking to get his season back on track. Montoya was on pole last week at Road America, but did not go with the strategy that wound up winning the race for Unser Jr. Currently Montoya outside the top 10 in points. First lap underway on the option tire. See if we can find anyone on the harder compound. It doesn't appear that way yet. At least anyone on the leaderboard here to the top left. You can see the red being the option tire will be hard to see, but it is a just all black for a harder compound. Ooh, bit squirrely there. A little more rain came down, I'm not sure, but puddle seemed a bit more significant than earlier on. A couple more corners for Montoya and he will get that first lap in the books. Maybe the quickest. I don't know if they'll go quicker on lap 2. Some guys may peel off and try to get a second run at it here. Others will go for a second lap immediately. And there we go. At the top, it's Pato Award, Montoya's teammate. So they got something going on here in McLaren. Montoya was 9th quickest after lap 1. Pato got some pace in this number 5 car. He won at Barcelona last year. Won 17.6 with the first lap. Rossi 2nd. Last year's Euro champion. But up by about just over 1/10 on Rossi. Then you got Franchitti and McLaughlin. Field separated currently, looks like by just over a second. 1.6 back to Takuma Sato with a running 40th. Comes a second lap. This one could be quicker. Did see cars in the 116s in practice. Across the line. Not quicker for Award. A few cars seem to have improved, but Award did not. Look who did though. New pole sitter, Tony Kanaan. Out of nowhere with that. Kanaan, top of the charts, and Castroneves also sneaks up into the top 4. Montoya, who again was quickest in practice, back to 19th. Greg Moore, 22nd. Mario Andretti sitting 25th. Pelot back there. Oh my. And the pace came from here on Kanaan. It's got a great 7-Eleven car here this weekend. Does he go for a third lap? Looks like he is. Could it be quicker still? Cross the line. Here we go. A 1:18.3 that time by, so not quicker for Kanaan. So there's Robbie Gordon, Franchitti, Dixon. These guys are all in and have pit. Newgarden on his 4th lap. 11th quick. It's not out of the possibility that anyone improves with these wet spots on the track. Someone could dodge it entirely and maybe really improve on their lap time, or tire temps could fall into their favor. I'm not saying it's likely, but it could happen. Oh, down pit lane. See, this is what we're going to see during the race with all that water there. Very difficult, but looks like Takuma Sato went on rain tires. And everyone was on soft tires. All right, we will go ahead and advance to our race session here. And we will have a standing start for the first time this year. It is part of this European swing we do have.
Gridding started. 4 minutes, 55 seconds before lights out.
Still lightly wet out there for the drivers. You saw the puddles clear up a bit. Let's take a look here. No rain in the forecast. Here's your starting lineup. Take a quick look as we scroll through the field. Tony Kanaan on pole alongside Pato O'Ward. Bourdais second in points, starting 13, so well ahead of Greg Moore back in 22nd. We'll go through the field here momentarily so you can see where your favorite driver is starting. But great job by Tony Kanaan. This may be a first career pole for this 7-Eleven team. And what better place to do it than here at Austria, Red Bull Ring, where it is a standing start, so his advantage is even more apparent. There you go. Rossi starting third, has a good shot at defending that European crown. Castroneves fourth, and Dan Weldon fifth. Great run for him. Branchitti, McLaughlin, Al Jr., last week's winner and winner at the Indianapolis Grand Prix. Scott Dixon and Will Power, that rounds out your top 10. On further back, you got Joseph Newgarden. Hunter Ray starting here with second in points, Sebastian Bourdais. Third in points there, Colton Herta. Third or fourth in points.
3 minutes left.
Nice start for Lyondike about mid-pack. Kenny Brack up here. Paul Tracy having a great season alongside Montoya, who was quickest in practice. And there is your points leader, Greg Moore. He's got a healthy lead, over 100 points. However, it looks like there could be opportunities for that to be chipped into here today. Mario and Michael a bit further back than they'd like to be, along with Alex Pillow. And here you got two Target, Chip Ganassi, Jimmy Vassar, and Alex Zanardi. Arrow McLaren, Hinchcliffe, and Wickens. Jacques Villeneuve here,
2 minutes
further
left.
back than he'd like to be. Gilles de Ferrin and Emerson Fittipaldi. Fittipaldi was quick in practice, so same with Ray Hall. These guys not excited to be as far back as they are. And here you go, Takuma Sato on the rain tires. And Buddy Lazier rounding out the field. So there is the field lined up, ready to go. Go ahead and jump in, and we will get going green.
We need to change to a new tire compound during
We're
the race,
done.
or else we'll be disqualified.
Focus now.
Green, 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 green.
Cars get away. Good start at the front for O'Ward. He's on the inside. Kanon cannot fend him off, but he'll, excuse me, have the run on the outside. Up this long sweeping straight. There are puddles on each side. We may see some contact. We did in practice. How does everyone file through here into this tight right-hander? A lot of 3 wide further back. It's like everyone's clean. O'Ward takes the lead from Kanon on lap 1. How long does Takuma Sato stay out on those rain tires? Not much water on the track anymore. Sato staying out. Here's the battle for 5th. Castro Neves got pseudo teammate McLaughlin behind him, and Castro Neves 4th, McLaughlin 5th, and then Weldon 6th. Good run for Weldon here on the road course. Shot of the field coming by. That water should clear up really quick there through that corner. Look at Al Jr. looking for a way by here. So potential pass here with Newgarden on Dixon, but he backs out. Good start for everyone here. No incidents. Tony Kanaan quickest overall. 16.4 that last time by. So trying to track back down O'Ward and get the lead back. I was wondering about that outside starting position. It's very, not precarious, but doesn't really benefit folks that are starting on the outside, even if you have the line. Great shot of these cars coming through this real quick left, right. Having to avoid those rumble strips because they are still a bit wet. Otherwise, you'd see them, all 4 tires on that red and white part of the track. Kanon, wow, another 4/10. O'Ward is struggling. I don't think it's so much O'Ward is struggling. Kanon's just very quick, because even 3rd place, Rossi is not that much quicker. Let's go on board with Kanon. See what it's like and what these wet spots are looking like from a driver's perspective. It's probably the trickiest part here. Bit wider line through this corner. You really see the reflections there through these rumble strips. Looks like a quicker lap for Award this time by. And he's able to improve by 0.5 on Kanan. Let's see some more water off to the right, then here to the left. Oh, the wind is just flying here. 10 miles per hour. But you can really hear it. Almost like the forest winds here. Crisp air. Rossi now. He's gaining time. Get our audio up a little bit. Another great lap. Rossi now, maybe looking for a way by here pretty soon. On lap 6. Field separated by 20 seconds. See Mario and Michael back here, not able to make up much ground yet. Fear the same for Greg Moore. I'm not sure if he's been able to move up. Bourdais still 13th where he started. Montoya 19th, quickest in practice. Greg Moore 23rd. I think that is where he started as well. You notice Award able to get out on the rumble strips a bit there. That's probably improving his lap time. He's being a bit more aggressive out here on these wetter lines now. Pushing a bit more. A 119.4 to a 120.3 that time by. So Kanan starting to lose pace, and it's only a matter of time before those behind him lose patience. 88 degrees on the track temp. No further rain expected, but we will monitor that. Oh, and I see, yeah, McLaughlin was able to get by Dan Weldon. Yeah, for 5th place. Good pass by the 3 team, now looking ahead on the 03. There's Newgarden right behind Scott Dixon for 10th. It's got Will Power and Franchitti in front of them. So 2 Penske's chasing 2 Ganassi cars here in this little 4-pack. Two seconds, the gap up front. Kanon's been able to put about a half second back between himself and Alexander Rossi. Cooling off on the charge momentarily. A little further back here, I see Herta and Sebastian Bourdais running 13th and 14th. Second and third in points. 10 spots currently up on Greg Moore, but at that rate it would take over 10 races to close that gap. He has a 100-point lead on these two in the current season standings. You can find those season standings, a top 10 at least, in the description below. Sam has someone that made a pit stop, and it was Takuma Sato. He's out on prime tires. Interesting how it's worked out for him because it didn't rain, so he still has to use the soft and the hard tire. At least I'm pretty sure. This is not considered a rain race. That's your first stop, lap 9. Now 2.7 seconds between first and second. Seven chasing the 7-11-11 car. Definitely quicker. Being patient though. Rossi, although in the Napa colors, is a McLaren driver. See Castro Neves. Now he's closing a little bit. Seems to get somewhat up to the next car, and then they drop back, and no one can really make a pass here at this juncture of the race, or maybe people are just being a little conservative and minding their P's and Q's early on. Here's the rest of the field coming by one more time. You can see where everyone is currently running. Lindike looks like he's formed a bit of a train back here. We'll hop over with Greg Moore to see how he's running there. So we've got a few groups. Looks like 3 of them. So here's your points leader. Greg Moore running behind Pato Ward. Just want to check. Okay, Greg Moore started 22nd. Pelot started 27, so great start for Pelot. Must have gained a lot of spots on that opening lap on the inside. See AJ Foyt running 24th. Rick Mears just put in his quickest lap of the race. So that's interesting. Nigel Mansell here, 21st, and Hornets Jr. 20th. A little further ahead, we mentioned Montoya. Here's a pass forward position. Paul Tracy on Danny Sullivan into that right-hander. Nicely done. they call it, turn 3. And he is by. Move Tracy up, and he can focus now up ahead on Kenny Brack. Blindank actually was able to pull away from that group as well, so. Seeing comers and goers at the end of this fuel run, and not sure exactly how far they can go on fuel. But I imagine around 20 laps would probably be the most. Al Jr. running in the wake of Dan Weldon, who's... Oh, look at that pass up here. Looks like Rossi was able to get by Tony Kanaan for second, and now can move forward on Pato O'Ward with clean air. And it's huge right before pit stops. Create a bit of a gap and won't have to worry about anyone being in front of him as he enters his stall, while Kanaan may lose time now, especially if they pit the same lap. Sun shining down on this track. However, temps continue to plummet late in the day here at a 4 p.m. start, so just approaching 4:20 p.m. 4:21. Rossi that time by a 118.9, O'Ward a 119.2. See McLaughlin maybe make some moves here soon. He's looking pretty quick. At 83 degrees the track temp. That is making it very interesting. You might want to refer to the harder compound, or I don't know, maybe wait to the very end. More rain will be off the track by then. Or water, I should say. Water almost completely gone in that part. Great view from the grandstands as drivers make their way down the front stretch. Beginning lap 15. That time by another 3/10 for Rossi. Even more on third, though. He is putting a nice gap cushion there, which will work for Kanaan, actually. He doesn't want to be that close. And with Sato, he is already going to be off the requirement for tire compounds, so that is something to watch as well. If he doesn't have to go back to those hard compounds, there could be a serious disadvantage at that, and Sato could end up running at the front when this is all said and done. Gap, first, second, 2.5. O'Ward looking strong here. 118.6 that time by, quicker than Rossi. Turning up the wick a bit. Still not seeing any takers on pit lane. Car just looks very smooth for that Aero McLaren. The water almost working to its advantage here. Now when the track does fully dry, do we see a different outcome? Oh, and there we go. Pit stops are starting. You can see how slow a lot of these guys are moving through there because of the rain. McLaughlin, however, stays on track. This is where it gets dicey. In the danger zone. Comes Montoya, he's staying out.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
Caution is out. We are getting debris. I'm not sure what happened here. Oh, huge crash. Award. Done. Gets off into the puddle. Oh. Contact with Zanardi coming out of pit lane. Off. Hard hit. Oh my gosh. That explains the caution flag. We had other cars. There's the contact. Oh, head on, back across. Who else did we have? Tony Stewart. Let's see if we can find Tony Stewart. Wow. What a moment in this race. Now let's see if we can find McLaughlin here. Still waiting for the pace car, it seems. I'm not sure. Oh, here's the pace car. Okay. Car's down pit lane. Newgarden is staying out. I'm not sure if Will Power is out of gas. Will Power out of gas. Oh my goodness. Mayhem here in the pit lane. Car is running out of fuel. Rossi now will inherit the lead. Get this resolved in a moment. Award is certainly done for the day. My God. Here we go. On board with Award. Oh. Wow. What an incident. Can't quite tell what happened. We'll go back one more time. This is in slow-mo. So there's Zanardi. Award not staying over too much. I wouldn't put that on Zanardi. And then Award off into the water and the grass. Cannot save it. Overcorrects right back into that inside wall. Only one car involved miraculously in this. See the corner worker in a precarious spot here as Award continues to wreck out of control. Wow. One more shot from the blimp. Ooh.
We're doing one more lap.
Alright, so a lot of cars getting back out on track now after having to cycle back through the pits. What we're gonna do, get these cars back on the lead lap. Alright, and I appreciate everybody's patience in getting this sorted out. We're going back green shortly with McLaughlin at the front. Be Alexander Rossi in second. Kanon third. Castroneva's fourth, and Dan Weldon in fifth. Need another 2 or 3 laps though, so these guys get their laps back and get back to green. If you need to take a quick break, we'll be here and just letting these cars cycle through. This will certainly shake up the running order and fuel strategies even, as these cars will have an extra few laps now in their tank. That could come into play. I don't believe anyone is on hard compound tires at the moment. Keep an eye as some of these lap cars make their way through. This is all a result of Will Power actually running out of gas into pit lane when the caution came out, causing everyone to stack up and have to tow to their pits. Fortunately, the AI is not smart enough to drive around. See, we still got quite a few cars coming by, so at least another lap under ELO. See Rossi on the rumble strips there, how sideways he was getting. It's incredible. And the market left even on the rumble strip. You cannot even touch it with these slick tires. Like he almost spun out, letting cars by. So I want to see who our last car was here. Okay, Hunter Ray will be the last one. So keep an eye for him. A lot of quick cars, though, were sent to the back as a result of this incident. It's the timing of Award going flying into the inside wall and back across the track. Scary moment. That was your... technically your leader. He led the whole first 18-19 laps of this race. Only to have it end in very dramatic and devastating failure. Probably the biggest crash we've had in the IndyCar Legends Racing Series. It's a top 5 for sure. And no penalty will be given for the contact. Oh no. So we'll get at least one more lap under caution, so it's like maybe lap 25 will go green. I'll put us right at the 1/3 mark of this race, which is now really almost like being restarted at this point when you have who was the leader by a significant margin. Like, Award was in full control of this race, and now
Doing one more lap.
who's going to take advantage and capitalize. McLaughlin, you know, he's able to take the lead. We'll be back in just one moment. Take a quick break, and we'll be back to green here in 2 laps. All right, we are back here with, should be 1 to go at the line for these drivers. Hunter Ray catching up to the tail end of the field. Somehow Newgarden is now the leader. Hold on.
Hang on, we're not going green.
Okay, one more moment again. Somehow have all right. Now Okay.
Doing one more lap.
Should be all cleared up now. Newgarden will be the leader. Then McLaughlin. And Rossi your top 3. Canon, Castro Neves the top 5. Weldon, Unser Jr., Franchitti, Scott Dixon, Colton Herta the top 10. See anyone that really kind of lost out on this whole situation. Pelot and Greg Moore moved up quite a bit. Mario Andretti was able to gain some spots. Bourdais back to 30th. Not a good stop for him. Not sure what happened with Hornish and Fittipaldi, but keep an eye on that. Everyone should be caught up, and we'll go back green on lap 28. So an extended caution here at Red Bull Ring. Timing and scoring seems to be back in order. Cars are really testing out those rumble strips I'm noticing here under these laps behind the pace car. Really drying out the line almost intentionally here. Go back green this time by. And Pato O'Rourke cleared from the infield care center. Was walking away slowly, but should be good to go by next week at the Nürburgring. Round 2 of the European swing. However, Pato O'Rourke's chances for that championship up in smoke. Two Penske's out front. Great job on pit strategy. They stayed out and worked to their advantage. Everybody on the soft compound. This would have been a great time to be on the hard. I think Sato is still on the hard compound. He's kind of been everywhere today. He's throwing everything at the wall, seeing what sticks. I understand Greg Ray also out of the race. We'll see if we can find out what happened with him maybe during the next break we have. But we'll be going back to green here in just a moment. Not much standing water left in this part of the track. Cars really trying to work that rumble strip, see if they can get some traction. But this start could be very staggered with how they're running the line off of the final corner. Keep an eye on that. Pace car will be in.
Get ready to race.
And Newgarden leads the field down. Back to green. They're taking the inside line. Oh, they do check up though to go to the rumble strip. Oh, very interesting.
Green, green, green.
Keep an eye on this. Make sure nobody has a crash here. It's like everyone's away. Oh, Bourdais might get a penalty. There's the gaps coming up. Let's see how it looks. So, no incidents so far. Bobby Rahal looking on Wickens. Bobby Wickens. Robert Rahal. Nice lead for Penske, out in front by about 2 seconds on Rossi. Just did not get a good jump. Kanan got a good gap between himself and 5th place Castroneves. Unser Jr. getting a little racy back here. He's got Franchitti on his rear wing, so knows time is of the essence. Franchitti hard on the brakes there. Shadows starting to grow large. Coming up on 5 p.m. local here in Spielberg. Spielberg, Austria. Site of the Red Bull Ring and the IndyCar Legends Racing Series round 11. Currently leading Joseph Newgarden and Scott McLaughlin first and second. Pat O'Ward led the first 18 laps, and then after a pit stop, contact with a car still on track, Zanardi, sent him careening into a massive wreck. Out of the race. So the race really turned upside down. And just getting back on track at this moment. Thing I noticed, yeah, Sato, he's out of the pits. Castroneves looking for a way by Kanan. Kanan's having a great run. Knows he's maybe a little down on power compared to these Penske cars. Him and Weldon just doing their best at the front of this pack. Kanan does hold the quickest lap of the race at a 1:16.481. Track temperatures continue to drop. Looks like it's heating up front. Excuse me there. McLaughlin and even Rossi's closing in on this battle. He was a second quicker that time by. So keep our third eye on Kanan and Castroneves, but up front, this is where it's shaking out. Newgarden, McLaughlin, and Rossi. I believe Newgarden actually was the pole sitter here last year at the Red Bull Ring. You're looking to finish the job here in 2025. Loose on exit. Putting the power down to prevent any run from McLaughlin. McLaughlin very smooth though. This is now a 3-car battle, and then Castroneves tried to dive in on Kanaan, just couldn't make it stick. Kanaan hard on the brakes. The dry line is completely there though. I don't even see spray at any point on the track anymore. Let's take a look at what our trusty track information says. Oh, look at this. A little chance of rain at 6 p.m. That could potentially be right at the end of this race. Excuse me. Track very lightly wet, as you saw there. McLaughlin pit lane. Fittipaldi, he's out.
Yellow, yellow,
And
yellow.
another caution on the track. A lot of cars were down pit lane. Oh boy. Just going through, making sure everything's clean with everyone. Ah, what a moment there. A lot of cars got to pit lane. Now you gotta wonder what happens from here. You gotta pit, I think, if you're at the front of this field. Big moment in the race as we are just about approaching the halfway point. Caution out for debris. Emerson Fittipaldi had to hit pit lane. Is now back on track, and we're seeing that he had a part of his wing actually taken off, so it was on the track and brought out the caution. Everyone makes their way through the final few corners before pit entry. How many decide to dive down? See Castro Neves. Very surprising how many are staying out. But everyone back here now has pit. So Newgarden, Rossi, Kanan, those guys are committed to that strategy. There's Michael Andretti and Tony Stewart. They are going to pit. Oh, wow. And you look at this now, I'm pretty sure we got Greg Moore. Okay, that was it's Villeneuve, but Pelot's up here. Greg Moore was with Pelot. How far back until our first car that pit? Scott McLaughlin running 13th. And then you got Dan Weldon, Dario Franchitti, Colton Herta, and Ari Lyondike. That's your first 5. So 12 cars stayed on track. Should be going green with 37 laps to go. Provided we get Emerson Fittipaldi around in time. Still a bit further back in the field. Here at the front, Kanan sitting third. Al Jr., last week's winner and the winner at the Indianapolis Grand Prix, so knows what he's doing on the road courses, especially right now. He is in a rhythm. Rossi knows how to get it done, especially at these road courses over here in Europe. I mentioned before he was the mid-season champ last year with the European swing. And Newgarden looking to get his season on track. It has not been on track at all so far. This is a big race for him to kind of put it all together. And hope we can string a few good finishes. But we'll go an extra lap as Emerson's still not quite up far enough.
Hang on, we're not going green.
And I'm not sure who that is. Is Emerson Fittipaldi? Yeah. Well, Fittipaldi not going to get his lap back here.
Hang on, we're not going green.
So he just came out in mid-pack. We need to get him waved around. Shouldn't take too long from where he's at. It is a warning to the 20 team, as they were not permitted to pit at that point. Back up front, let's go look at the top 5. Newgard and Rossi Kanan, Al Jr. and Scott Dixon.
Hang on, we're not going green.
Just at the halfway point when we'll be going back. Green flag racing. Hopefully the last of our cautions today. Timing and scoring, having a difficult time keeping up with everything going on here. Had one major crash though, and then a debris caution here most recently. Scott McLaughlin and Joseph Newgarden leading both strategies, so Penske kind of having their bases covered, hedging their bets. Interested to see what these guys do, how far they go on these tires before having to pit. Not just the tires, but the fuel is the issue. I'm seeing Alex Palou missing a front wing. Not sure if it just happened right there where we were having some unnecessary side-by-side driving. Everyone else seems to be clean, but yeah, Palou. It's a big deal. (5:10 p.m.) here in Austria. I'm trying to find the pace car, but not wanting to show up. So kind of helps keep these cars in order. See if we just go on board with Newgarden if he shows up. Unfortunately. Right at the halfway point, so this really sets us up for an incredible finish to this race. We have, I'd say, like 4 or 5 different strategies going on. Anything can happen here. Cars lined up. Hopefully we can get a good exit off this final corner. We will keep an eye on it, make sure we don't get too many issues or penalties. Taking off.
Green, green, green.
Green flag's out. Few cars jockeying for position. A lot of checkups. Oh, Bobby Rahal's off the track. No current penalties, so it's good to see. Newgarden away very cleanly. 1 second back to Rossi and another 1.5 seconds. Oh wait, now let's check with Palou. This is concerning if you are a fan of the 10 car. Big trouble there through the carousel. Really needs that downforce through these fast corners and just does not have it. Way out wide. 10 car, you think, has got to pit. And if he does, he's definitely fixing this damage. It's coming down pit lane this time by. Back up front, 1 second lead for Newgarden. And you got Kanan, Unser Jr. Dixon. Jimmy Vasser having a great run. He's had a lot of tough luck this year. There's 9th, Scott McLaughlin. 7 laps on his tires, on his fuel tank. A lot of it, though, don't forget, under yellow. Dan Weldon riding behind him in 2nd on this strategy with Franchitti 3rd. Building a bit of a gap back to Weldon and trying to close up on Mario Andretti. Meanwhile, Scott Dixon has created about 2 second gap back to 6th place Jacques Villeneuve. Pit stop for Rossi. Good entry. Newgarden stays out. See how many others are staying out on track and where this all works with the pit stops. There's McLaughlin. Everybody comes out on track. There's Rossi on his way out. So he's clear. Gotta wait till here for Polo. There's Vassar and Polo. Here's Newgarden. By himself on track. Will he pit this time by? It looks like yes, he is. Now Franchitti trying to get by his best friend and Dan Weldon. Can't make it work in very tricky spot to pass anyways. New leader on track. Scott McLaughlin. And we mentioned it earlier. Excuse me, jeez. Takuma Sato. He's really done a great job making this work. We started on the wet tires and very odd strategy, but paying off for 15. Rahal, Letterman. A lot of rubber flying there. It's almost like half fresh track with it being dry now. There's parts of the track that haven't even been used, and these tires are being chewed up. Here's Scott McLaughlin come by, begin lap 43. Newgarden cannot hold off Rossi. So that technically Rossi leading this new strategy. And it's Kanon, Unser Jr., and Dixon. Remember, Rossi won here last year. He knows how to get it done. They're coming up quick on slower cars. It's going to really derail their lap times. Probably allow third, fourth, and fifth to really close up, and also they're going to lose time on the current leaders when they pit. Scott McLaughlin crossing the line. Now into lap 44, Dan Weldon and Dario Franchitti. They're still running 118.7. Interested to see real quick what they are calling the track. Very lightly wet still. Let's check also the radar. The chance of rain lingers. I'm checking. It's right now we're at 519. This race goes to any past 6 p.m. I mean, it's getting there. We get some raindrops in the last few laps. That would be incredible. Let's take a look at the field as they come by off the last corner. Great shot. Rossi now almost to the tail end of the field. Made a bit of a gap on Newgarden as Kanan really holding up Unser and Dixon. You see the repairs done to Pelot. They did a good job on that stop, not losing too much time. Be 30 laps to go at the line. So you think how you're gonna when you make this last stop, you start counting backwards almost. But with the cautions we've had, it's not out of the question we're out of the woods. Figuratively and literally here in Spielberg, Austria, the mountains of the Alps. Lyndike holding off to Farron. Castroneves back here. Castroneves had an issue. Can't recall quite what it was, but finds himself back up in 7. Albeit behind de Farron, where he was up front battling. It was a full second quicker. Oh no, his best lap is a full second quicker than de Farron. It's the last lap, only 0.2 quicker. Probably on the radio right now, asking for some help from his crew chief. Time is of the essence here. And passing is not easy. Back up front again. Dan Weldon being chased by Dario Franchitti. Right around for a lap here with Dario. He's in 3rd place, a second ahead of Colton Herta. As mentioned, tracking down Dan Weldon and their leader Scott McLaughlin. Midsummer, 79-degree track temp. A bit of rain early on. Some storms brewing in the mountains. And these three fighting it out with under 30 to go. Inside line still very wet. This part of the track has not dried out nearly as much as the first half. Go through this first turn again and just give you an idea how sharp this corner is and how hard it is to hit that apex. McLaughlin continues to lead. Gaps remain the same through the top 4, about a second separating each driver. Half a second now for Dan Weldon. He's closed up a bit. Another lap, staying out. Whenever you can pit any time now and make it on one more stop. So now it's just a matter of when do you want to take those harder compound tires and how many laps do you want to be on them. No one's even tried yet in this race. And I'm fairly certain it was not considered a rain race, as there were never drops on the track. Excuse me. At least during the race session. Not even during practice or qualifying. So here's Greg Moore, your points leader. 10th right now with Zanardi in tow in 11th. We'll see Montoya back there in 13th. But Greg Moore, 10th place, making something out of today. He started 23rd or 22nd, and might be able to get out of here without much damage. Just got to make sure he's on the right strategy, though. There's Rossi on the tail end of this pack. Trying to look for a move now on Fittipaldi. Oh, wow. Not giving anything there. The 20 car. There's Newgarden, 2.5 back. He has not been able to keep pace. There's Dixon. Zanardi's down pit lane. Okay. There's Zanardi on wet tires. Dixon goes to the soft compound. Oh my goodness. Why would he go to the wet tires? It's not even raining. And in fact, the track has dried dramatically. Let's take a look at the radar. Not seeing anything here. Zanardi on wet compound tires. Was it an accident? Comes to Farron. Three and a half back now. Rossi to Newgarden. Get back out front. Here's your leader. Pit stop's inevitable. 25 to go. If you stretch this, can you make it just on the one stop? I think, maybe some of those guys can. We'll have to take a look here in a moment. Castro Neves. Staying out. Gonna take the lead here. On lap 52. Coughlin's out. Looks like he's going to merge out right in front of Newgarden. Al Jr. able to make the pass on Weldon. That's big. Now he is directly behind Tony Kanaan. Here's Rossi. It's got 2.5 seconds on McLaughlin. So if you're Rossi, he can make it, I think, on one more stop. Same can be said for Newgarden and Kanaan. And Rossi sits now with a significant lead. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm seeing. So it's going to take a 3-second gap in about 20 laps time. McLaughlin's looking quick, though, I tell you. Fresh tires. He's going to put some laps down. Especially now he's got a rabbit to chase out there in Rossi. Gap's already down to 2.7. So where you'll really see those tires come to life. Putting a second now on himself in Newgarden. Sounds like McLaughlin said, I'm coming for the fast lap here. What does he have? Clean, clear air on the nose. It's a 117, or no, sorry, 118.999. Did not eat into the lead. Maybe this lap will be different because he looks quick. However, Rossi keeping it at 2.83 seconds, so who's to say? I see Rossi flashing by with a glare striking off the nose of his car. McLaughlin seems to be the only car that has a shot at this unless Kanaan or Unser Jr. can get by Newgarden. Really tight battle here. Dramatic difference in pace. Dan Weldon, Colton Herta, and Franchitti. These guys on fresh tires. All soft compound. Interested where Greg Moore is running at the moment. I'm not seeing him in the top 10. What went from maybe saving the day is now once again falling apart. Greg Moore 22nd. Even Montoya back in 25th. Paul Tracy, Will Power. These guys not having good days. Bourdais in 32nd. I'm not sure what's happened with him, but a disaster for Bourdais. Scott Dixon in 36th. Yeah, we are at 20 laps to go. Two drivers out, Pat O'Ward and Greg Ray. This is the battle for third. Trying to keep touch with the top two in Scott McLaughlin, who has fresh tires, and Alexander Rossi, who won here last year and was last year's European champion, part of that European swing with 3 races on the slate. Next up will be the Nürburgring Grand Prix and Barcelona. The winner is awarded the European title for the season. No extra points or anything, but bragging rights. Again, that was won by Alexander Rossi just last season, so picking up where he left off. $20 to go, coming up at 19 remaining. And if you make it... Oh, he's coming in here. 19 to go. Can he make it to the end? Al Jr. Newgarden, they're staying out. Where does Rossi come out of pit lane? Here we go. Up the hill to merge. Looks like Will Power be right around. He's outside, but he's going to get a clean entry into that line. I don't have to worry about any sort of wheel contact as we've seen earlier. Sebastian Bourdais. Oh, contact with AJ40. Wow. Okay, so yeah, none of these guys can make it. Just making sure we're squared away, but wow, real tight there. Mario and Jimmy Vasser, they're hitting pit lane. Comes DeFerrin. Al Jr. is making his stop. There's Rossi. Here's Unser Jr. Kanon's coming up. Villeneuve gonna edge out Pelot, but Pelot hard on the brakes, gonna get the spot. Nicely done. Now these guys should all be able to make it to the end. Including Alex Rossi, who just has an incredible gap now. Provided he can make it to the finish, it's Rossi's race to lose. Excuse me, I was trying to get to, I did see though, appeared Joseph Newgarden was on pit lane. 5 seconds up on Dan Weldon and Colton Herta. Dario Franchitti. There's that battle. Almost got Castroneves and Leyendijk. Or no, Leyendijk's actually a bit further back. Castroneves making it a 4-car race for second. All the while, McLaughlin just really in control here in the second half of the race. Ever since Award went out, hasn't really been much else.
38th position, number 1. Mario Andretti has a black flag.
Oh, wow. Andretti with a black flag. Take a look here. And Mario speeding on pit entry, gonna kill his day. Heartbreaker for the one team, but self-inflicted. It's McLaughlin down the front stretch again. 15 laps remain. Rossi's pursuit of this win continues to be well in hand. The next car, let's see the closest, Joseph Newgarden. He must be a full straightaway and some 10 cars in between himself and Rossi. Then you got Kanan and Unser Jr. Pelot is there, and I believe Jacques Villeneuve. Newgarden took rain tires as well. There goes a pass. Unser Jr. Big move for the 3. Al's got this place figured out. Alexander Rossi, Unser Jr. Rossi trying to time his pass here, maybe get something down the front stretch or a long side straight. "23 seconds right now, the gap. First to Rossi. His way out of the carousel. Dan Weldon again, still 5 seconds back. There's Colton Herta. Castroneves dropping a little pace. You got Lyondike and DeFerrin. Moving to Kumasato here. Look at that. Lazier and Hinchcliffe rounding out the top 10 in front of your points leader, Greg Moore. Continue to watch for Win McLaughlin Pitts. It's running 119.0. Rossi's running 120.2. So the longer McLaughlin's staying out, you know, it's gonna help him in the end. Less fuel in the stop, and he's gaining about a second a lap by staying out. Excuse me. All right, off the final corner again. Laughlin looking strong. Let's drop back to his teammate now on the other alternate strategy. Lost some positions, but I think technically still second in this strategy. But Al Jr. looking for a way by with the better tires. Newgarden went to the rain tires for some reason. Maybe predicting rain in the last 2 laps, but not seeing as the sun's still shining here. Might see a move by Al Jr. here up the hill. He's got a lot of speed and probably better tires, especially under braking. But Newgarden, he instead looks for a move on Fittipaldi. Nicely done. That is very good move by the 2 car. That's going to relieve the pressure of Al Jr. being so close behind. Can now sneak in and try to take the spot 2. Follow through. Got Emerson, he's making it tough. Now Junior's looking for a spot on Newgarden, almost contact. Junior's gonna get by. What a pass for position. Emerson Fittipaldi making life difficult for Newgarden. Pseudo teammates, but not giving up any track space. So seeing 0% chance of rain. Now the rain has moved out of the area. And I'm assuming that by there being rain on the track or water on the track, this is actually considered a rain race, and using both compounds is not required in this instance. Because I've not seen anyone has touched the prime tires all weekend. Practice, qualifying, or the race. McLaughlin continues to pace the field. 5 seconds now the gap, 10 laps to go. Time running out. 26 seconds though the gap. See that time by a 120.1. McLaughlin a 119.1. Across the line, McLaughlin trying to put a bow on this race. 8 laps remain. He knows he has to make a stop. Do fuel only. As short of a stop as possible. Ran a 118.9, as did the entire top 3 that time by. Even Franchitti, a 118.7. cars are flying at the front of the field. Yeah, that is not what those guys at the back want to see. Hear that wind roaring. Wow. There was some excessive wind through that part of the track. You could hear it. There's McLaughlin. Here's the big stop. How much time did he pick up on Rossi? Here's Rossi. So he's about 27 back when McLaughlin hit pits. I think McLaughlin might have him. Go, final corner. Don't see him yet. McLaughlin's on rain tires. And there's Weldon and Herta. Weldon's on the water down the side stretch there. Out breaks Will Power. And I'm seeing McLaughlin up ahead. Indeed. He's right behind Greg Moore, who's running third. What a stop by the 3 team. So the next closest car is Dan Weldon. He's got the buffer of Will Power between himself and Rossi, so he gets his tires up to temperature. And I don't know there's any catching up from this far back. Huge run for Rossi down the front stretch. I think he's on the push to pass. Alongside Weldon into 1. Side by side, there's a car coming out of pit lane. That's Castro Neves. Oh, man. Hairy stuff. Had to make the pass. Herta now going on Weldon. Sends it in. Castro Neves. Trying to hold on to what could potentially be second place. Lap 69 here. Maybe 6 to go at the line. And unless Rossi can find a way by quick, I think this is in the bag for McLaughlin. Ross is going to have to use his push to pass down this front stretch like he did with Herta. Does not get the exit he was hoping for. Up the hill. This is it. Battle for the lead. Particularly second place. Here's McLaughlin up ahead by 5 seconds right now. Over Castro Neves and Alexander Rossi. Still only 2 cars out of the race. Pat O'Ward and Greg Ray. Mario Andretti had a black flag, putting him at the end of the field, 38th. Emerson Fittipaldi had some wing damage. And now, Castro Neves pulling away from Rossi. So, that is an interesting turn of events. Pressure tires paying off. Not enough time, though. There's 5 to go at the line, and Unless he's pulling a second a lap on McLaughlin. McLaughlin to the 118.7 to a 118.4. It's 0.3 quicker. 4 seconds back. Not much time left for Castroneves. On board the Spider. Castroneves doing a great job here, keeping the car in line with that dry line. And to run a little wide. You'd like to see him closer to that curbing, but just doesn't trust it enough. And I think McLaughlin may have gone quicker this time by 119.2. No, actually, take it back. Rossi, Castroneves quicker by 0.3, as was Alexander Rossi. Four laps to go. There you see it. Rossi thought he had this one. He was certain he had a good race strategy and just got held up in traffic for too many laps, allowing McLaughlin to come out of the pits well ahead. And then you got Colton Herta, third in points. Huge run for him. Dan Weldon looking for a top 5 with Franchitti hot on his rear wing. Oh, look at that. Rossi's going down pit lane. I didn't know if he could make it, and he couldn't. Oh, wow. It was close, but not enough. Al Jr. now. Can he make it? That could be devastating for Al Jr. Colton Herta now bumps up to a podium just like that, and Franchitti says, I'll take a top 5. Castroneves can breathe a bit more now. 2-second gap back to Herta, and then he has 4 seconds up to current leader, who was another half second quicker then. It's too little too late. We're coming up on 2 to go. Two laps remain for Scott McLaughlin. Looking great here at the Red Bull Ring. Was the winner at Kentucky. Was somewhat of a messy race. Here we are again in I'd say it was a messy race. Finding a way to prevail. Al Jr. couldn't stay out any longer. Now it's Newgarden. Can he make it? Villeneuve's at 16. These guys hoping for top 10s. May not make it. Zanardi as well. Let's see. Got guys like Takuma Sato, Andretti, Hinchcliffe, even Rossi looking for a top 10. So he's still there. He's able to keep his car in the top 15. But 1 lap to go for Scott McLaughlin in what was just an incredible drive. Great strategy call. Way to get to the front and stay out front. Bested his teammate Joseph Newgarden when it came to strategy. And should see the 3 team comfortably in the top 10 in points. Colton Herta will close the gap on his rival Greg Moore, who is currently 18th. See where it all shakes out, as we have a lot of cars pitting on this last lap. Just could not quite make it to the end, but 2 corners to go for the 3 team. Scott McLaughlin dialed in here. 2025 first race of the European Swing goes to Scott McLaughlin. Second place, Elio Castro Neves. Third belongs to Colton Herta, Dan Weldon, and Dario Franchitti. There's Joseph Newgarden able to stretch the rest of the way. Zanardi, Lyndike. There's the Fair and Takuma Sato. Michael Andretti. Hinchcliffe held off Rossi. There's Robbie Gordon and Montoya, Unser Jr. Greg Moore finishing 18th. Paul Tracy, AJ Foy, Bourdais back in 24th. Dixon 26, Rick Mears 27. It's heartbreak back here. Below 32nd. Kanan 33rd. Jimmy Vassar, another bad finish on 35th. He cannot escape it. And here is the final car to finish, Mario Andretti. And here's your winner on the day, Scott McLaughlin. Taking the checker flag at the Red Bull Ring. Margin of victory, 3.6 seconds over Elio Castroneves. Colton Herta finishing 3rd to round out the podium. Dan Weldon and Franchitti, the top 5. Joseph Newgarden, Alex Zanardi, Ari Lyndike, Gilles de Ferrin, and Takuma Sato, your top 10. Let's take a look here who we should award our driver of the day to. Takuma Sato was really out there with his strategy and came away with the top 10 from 39th. I'm inclined to give it to him. Colton Herta with a podium from 15th. Yeah, I think Colton Herta will be the driver of the day. Scott McLaughlin started 7th and finishing 1st, of course. Great run from Sato and de Ferrin. Zanardi, Hinchcliffe up to 12th from 31st. Rossi 3rd to 13th, not what he was hoping for. A lot of disappointing finishes further back. We'll get to those in a moment. Nazier started last, finished 17th. Dixon 9th to 26th. Bourdais 13th to 24th. Kanan started pole, finished 33rd. Should have had a top 5. Hunter Ray 12th to 37th. Of course, Pato Award dominated early on, finishing 40th after starting 2nd and leading at least 18 laps. Great win for Scott McLaughlin. No rain anticipated for the rest of the evening, so we dodged that bullet. See what happens in Germany when we get to the Nürburgring. Let's go back real quick and take a look at any incidents in the race that we may have missed. Whoop. Oh wow, look at that Franchitti all on the water. Intense. Okay. Three wide back there, wow. That's pretty cool. Here's the wreck again with Pato. Oof. Thank goodness he's all right after that one. It's hard to say. I don't think I can give a penalty there. Just really unfortunate and ended in a huge wreck for award. See this one more time. Oof. Just stuffed into the wall. Off all four wheels for 720 degrees of rotation too. And then to seal it off with one more pow into that inside wall. I see this jam up on pit road. Here's where Palou lost his wing. I'm not sure what was happening here. It's a little contact from Vassar and wow. And that's it. No contact other than that. Very clean race for these guys. We did have a few out. Let's see if we can find Greg Ray. I think he might have just been... Oh, looks like he had engine problems or ran out of gas. One or the other. Yeah, couldn't get it going again. Well, that's our race here for the day. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Incredible action. Again, your winner, Scott McLaughlin, his first on the season. Or no, his second on the season, sorry. Winner Elsa at Kentucky. So we'll see where he is in the points standings, and we see you again next week. Or next race. Next race will actually probably be next week will be double points NASCAR Stock Car Championship Series at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We'll do 500 miles there, and then we'll be back for Indycar Legends Racing Series to do the second and third race of this European swing. See who gets the European title when it's all said and done. A few guys we thought had a shot at it, like Alexander Rossi, wound up finishing a little further back than they would have liked here. 13th for Rossi. But again, thank you for everyone for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe. Be back again next week. Check out other videos in the archive if you like. Your winner, Scott McLaughlin, here at the Red Bull Ring. Have a great rest of your weekend.